We are joined by the parents of Kaylee Goncalves, one of the victims of this tragedy. Kristi and Steve Goncalves, thank you so much for joining us, and we're so sorry for your loss. Kristi and Steve, can you tell me about your daughter tonight?
Our daughter was super driven. She was a 3-time Dean's List member. Her grades were amazing. She competed with everybody. She loved competing. She was just a highly driven person who
had many goals in life.
She had an internship that she was offered a full-time position, and we've worked with them, and they've been great with us this whole time. But yeah, she was driven, and she was going to go somewhere in life, and a great member of society, and that's what we wanted.
Yeah, y'all have to be so proud of her, and she was taken away from us far too soon. Can you tell us what the authorities have been telling you? We want to do anything that we can to help you to get justice for your daughter and the rest of the victims. What are they telling you?
They're telling us that there's so much evidence that it's going to take a lot of time to process it all. This wasn't like a pinpoint crime. This person was sloppy. He did whatever. When I say he, obviously you can't say that. That's just me. But he made a mess, and there's a mess there, and they're going to have to go through that point by point, and that's going to take a lot of time. That's why they reached out to other facilities to help them with that lab work.
They do have a mobile unit on site that they said that they're able to really expedite things with this mobile unit. Hopefully, they're reaching out to other DNA processing type companies such as like 23andMe to get involved. They have not confirmed that they have DNA from this person. They just said that they have a ton of evidence. And evidently today with the new task force, the new FBI task force on site, and the FBI, of course, and Idaho State Police, they said that they were able to pull a ton of evidence from the house today.
Yeah.
And they're processing that.
So
it just takes time.
Yeah, we've only heard positive stories about your daughter and the other victims out there. We couldn't find anybody to say anything about them. It's only been that they were givers. They loved everyone on campus. You see the videos on social media of them being so happy. Did y'all have any clue? I mean, there haven't been a murder, and you guys have sound since 2015. Did y'all have any clue that they may be unsafe on the campus? Was there any indication?
Absolutely not. And if they were, we would have told Kaylee to come home immediately. And same with Maddie. Maddie's family is our family. I know we're very close with them. They are not speaking out. They choose not to speak out, and they have asked us to please go ahead and speak on behalf of Maddie. They were best friends from little girls. She was part of our family. Kaylee was part of their family, and absolutely not. Our son went to that college. No, absolutely not.
My daughter was aware of her environment.
Very aware.
She turned her camera on. She would film when she thought somebody was following her out of a mall parking lot or a grocery store. She was very aware that, she was a pretty girl and that, it could attract some problems. So she was alert. She was a streetwise child.
She herself was a web sleuth, literally through and through. Listen to, which is just so ironic and just so surreal in all of it. Just very, sad for families when she'd hear about this type of stuff happening. Like, Mom, did you hear about that? Or Mom, did you hear about that?
Keep track of it.
And she was very well of her surroundings, very well. I mean, she would think somebody was following her, and she would call me and say, Mom, I think there's somebody following me. And I'm like, well, Kaylee, call the police, and then she'd say, oh, never mind. They just turned into 7-Eleven. She was aware, and very aware. And she locked her doors at night, and she locked her car. Kaylee was home, had just been home, so we are so thankful that she had just been home for a week and a half. She just bought a brand new vehicle for herself, her first vehicle. She had planned a trip. She was planning on backpacking across Europe for the month of January, starting her new job in February with this internship that she had done, wound up offering her a full-time, very well-paid position that she was very excited to take, and she was with us for the last week and a half. She went home Friday. to literally go show off her new vehicle. She was like, Maddie has to see my new ride. Like, she has to see this. And she was talking to Maddie the whole time, going back and forth between the car she was buying, and said, I'm not going to tell you. You're just going to see me pull up and wait till you see what I pull up in.
Wow.
And that was Friday. And we spoke to Kaylee on Saturday, and she sent me pictures, a lot of the pictures that are online. And they were both of our girls. And
when was the last time y'all spoke? When was the last time? What was that conversation like? Was it just like you described?
Kaylee called me on Saturday. My birthday was earlier in the week, and I didn't get anything for my birthday. Boo-hoo. We were, she was like, it was not a big deal. But Kaylee called me on Saturday and said, Mom, I'll be home on Tuesday, and I'm going to take you out to breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and it's all on me, and we'll celebrate your birthday. And I said, well, I don't know if I believe that, meaning she'd pay, but that sounds great, Kaylee. And I'll see you on Tuesday, honey. And then she sent me a couple pictures of her and Maddie. And that was on Saturday afternoon around 3.
Have you had the opportunity to talk with any other victims' family members? I know you all are grieving together.
Only Maddie's. And
it was just over at our house.
We just had Maddie's mother and father here. They were here for a couple, and it was very emotional for us today. That was the first time that we had gotten together. Just sad beyond belief, just beyond anybody's worst night. Absolutely. I mean, I'm sure you could only fathom,
yes,
but
ma'am.
it's heartbreaking. Maddie was an only child, but like I said, she was our child as well. Yes, and even Kaylee, how many siblings she had, she would always say 6. She said 5 sisters and a brother, or 4 sisters and a brother. And that was always Maddie. Yep. Maddie was in our oldest daughter's wedding. She said all of my sisters are my bridesmaids, and Maddie was one of those bridesmaids. And it was all of Olivia's sisters, including Maddie. She every time we traveled out of the country or went on vacations, Maddie went with us. So this is both of our girls, and we will never stop looking for who killed them.
We want to do everything that we can do in our power to get justice for your daughter. We keep hearing this name, Jack, and phone calls going back and forth. Can you tell us anything about that?
We love Jack. Absolutely love Jack. We stand behind Jack 1,000%. Jack was Kaylee's boyfriend for many years. They just recently broke up. There was no animosity at all. It was a breakup on Kaylee's point. It was not, they still talked every single day. Kaylee just thought that she needed a little break. They were on the mend of getting back together. Kaylee talked to Jack the whole time she was here for that week and a half. One
of her last messages, she reached out to Jack and said, Jack, get back to me. And he didn't. She goes, we share a dog together, which they did. She's like, you need to reach out to me. So
please come over. She was wanting Jack to come over. Jack is not, they're wasting their time with Jack. And Jack is just as distraught as we are. Jack is our family. Jack is 100%, 2,000% our family. And Jack is with us, and we stand behind him 100%. We're supporting him, and we know in our hearts and our minds and our souls, in the depths of our souls, Jack is hurting. And Kaylee and Jack would have eventually been married. They would have eventually been married, and they would have eventually had children together. So to say ex-boyfriend, it was Kaylee just being a brat, being like, I just need a break. But Jack was in her heart, and they were close to getting back together. And that was just Kaylee being Kaylee. So absolutely, Jack is, no.
We don't think he's a suspect.
At all.
Wow. Ma'am, can you tell me about what the mood is like in the town? You guys have been so brave to come on the program tonight and talk about your daughter, talk about the other victims, talk about the investigation. But a lot of people that weren't even, it was your daughter that was murdered. They are afraid to come on air because they feel like they could be next. Are you hearing the same thing in the town?
I don't like the fear. I want to share my address and give it to you to share with them. I have no fear whatsoever of this individual. I almost welcome him to come to my house. This community has been amazing. Every day we wake up with more food than we can ever eat, donuts, things. People are giving. The whole community's crying. Everyone is hurting. Everyone feels the pain of this. I mean, that one shiny thing out of all of this is I've never realized how beautiful my community is and how much love there is there for people. We just have one bad person, and we have to find that guy.
And, like my husband said, if he would like our address, we'd gladly give it to him. We'd love for him to show up.
We're not running. I'm not hiding my
scared.
stuff online. It's there. You can look me up.
Kristi and Steve, we continue
we can't speak for those families.
Yeah. We continue to support you guys, and we want to remember your daughter's legacy tonight. What can we do in this stage of the investigation to help our audiences? We'll put the tip number up, but what can we do right now to get you guys answers?
I think we need to post this timeline because it's a small community. This is like 7,000 people. We need to put a timeline out there where just random people can look there. I mean, people don't know, but their Teslas are filming 24/7, 7 days a week. So there could be somebody who doesn't realize that they have evidence.
Their ring cams, their phones, they were out and they were recording, and you know what? They look and, oh, what's that shady person? Look at that guy that just ran across the camera in the back. It's always those little things.
Did you get gas during the time that this activity was going on?
Gas stations. Did somebody go in and buy Band-Aids? I mean, obviously they're checking hospitals for somebody going in and, we're assuming this person was wounded. We're assuming this person got hurt in this struggle and this altercation that took place that night. They possibly needed stitches or were, going to Walgreens at 3 a.m. getting Band-Aids. I mean, anything.
We'll post that. We'll get you that timeline. You post it on your site.
They should have the timeline.
And that should help.
We have that timeline. We will post it up. If anyone that is, and it's right there on the screen, if you see something, if you saw anything minor, call the tip line. If you were there in that area, any little piece of evidence can help the authorities. I want to give y'all one last moment to tell our audience anything else.
My last thing is, if you have a daughter or even a son in that area, turn on a tracker app. Share that information with your family. Don't walk around that town without everyone knowing who you are. That you have to protect yourself. We have somebody loose. I don't want to create a panic. I don't want to do anything like that. But we know what we know. There's somebody out there. He's a psycho, and your daughter needs to share her address with you. She might not like that, but that's what you do in times like this.
That's right. Kristi and Steve, before I let y'all go, because y'all have been talking with the investigators, what piece of information do y'all feel is most important that could break this case wide open?
It's all digital information, phones pinging off of their residence, somebody's ring cams, and they're combing through that, and obviously physical evidence from the inside the house.
Yeah, if you have a router and you know you're within walking distance of this address,
yes,
this happened, turn that into the evidence. Don't make them go find it. You give it to them.
Your neighbor, because if he had his phone in his pocket, his walking, those homes are so close, his phone was trying to connect to those internets as he's walking through. If he had his phone, she, we're just assuming it's a he, just let people, let the authorities know. My Wi-Fi is available to you. If you want to search, don't make it hard, don't make it difficult. Don't make search warrants have to be gotten and to search for this. Just say, hey, I'm Kaylee and Maddie's neighbor. Check my Wi-Fi, check my Spectrum account, my Verizon account, whatever.
You could be the key. You really could be the key.
Yeah.
Kristi,
and I would think that the FBI is doing that, but
it takes time, and if you volunteer it instantly.
Yeah. Kristi and Steve, you have been so kind, and you have poured your heart out to our audience, and we stand with you and the rest of the victims' families. Thank y'all, and we continue to pray for you guys. Thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Thank you so much.